Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. It is Thursday, July 1st, 2021. I'm Andrew Hanson, ready to break down Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And let's get July off to a good start, shall we? We finished June with a real bang last night. We had a couple takedowns in the family. Our man Rouchard from Australia had a nice takedown on DraftKings, so congratulations to him. And I had a nice takedown on FanDuel playing with our GPP build. We gave out a one full GPP lineup on FanDuel that cashed top 1%, really nice. And then I put a couple other combinations of it in the $7 FanDuel contest and ended up with tie for first with one of them for 7,700. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks to all the support from our members in Discord. We have a great group in there. So definitely want to invite you to join us today. This is really a great time here with a couple weeks of NBA left. So come in for a 3-day pass if you'd like. You'll get our lineups tonight. And then Game 6, we're going to have Game 6 no matter what in the Eastern Conference Finals on Saturday. So you get those lineups as well. DFSCoachTalk.com if you'd like to join. We also have a contest today in honor of the takedown last night. So if you would hit the like button on YouTube, and if we get 40 of those likes, we're going to give away a free membership to DFS Coach Talk. So really appreciate your support there. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, if you haven't already. We thank everybody who has done that. We're getting close to a big goal, and so we'd love to have your support there. And we're going to continue to bring these podcasts to you 7 days a week in front of the paywall. Every day there's NBA. All right, so we have Game 5, Atlanta and Milwaukee, and we have some big injury news here, don't we? It's right about lunchtime here, and no updates as of yet. But of course, we know from the last couple of days that Giannis did not suffer any structural damage to that knee, which is a great relief for the Bucks, and a little surprising with the way that looked. But I'm glad to hear that. He's listed as doubtful, of course. I'd be pretty surprised if he plays the way that he looked. And, especially with the 2-2, you would think Milwaukee would try to get this one done without him and see if they can get him back to health here soon. But on the Atlanta side, we also have some big injury news as well, with Trae still questionable with that right foot bruise, and Capella is questionable with the right eye inflammation. So what I want to do here is break down each side, break down the Atlanta side, then the Milwaukee side, and then I'm going to circle back and talk about some specific builds on DraftKings and FanDuel. So on the Atlanta side, if Trae Young plays, then I think it's an easy domino effect. We get Lou Williams, who played 35 minutes and was awesome in Game 4. I think he goes right back to 15 to 18 minutes. And then Chris Dunn, who played 11 minutes of mop-up time mostly, he stays on the bench and doesn't get any run. If Trae Young sits, then I think we see Lou Williams in the starting lineup again, playing around 35, 36 minutes, and so he becomes squarely in play. Let's look at the Capella situation. If he sits, then I think Okongwu has a real good chance to move into that starting lineup, and he's been pretty good in his 10 to 15 minutes. So he's a value play all of a sudden. 8,500 on FanDuel could be your last guy in. Only 1,800 on DraftKings. Nice option there. So we're going to have to wait for that news, and you're going to have to build a couple lineups here if you want to get set ahead of time with the uncertainty of if those guys are going to play. Now, no matter what, I'm going to be interested in Herter and Bogdanovich. Those guys stepped up like we thought they would in Game 4, got a bunch more shots. Bogdanovich had the game that we've been waiting for, and we talked about how he was trending in that direction, getting more shots, more minutes, looking better. He had some stocks in Game 3, and he followed it up with 4 more in Game 4, 6 of 14 on three-pointers, 7 of 19 overall. And, man, was he really into it with the crowd there. So we'll have to see if he can do it on the road here in Game 5. This is in Milwaukee, of course, and it's an 8:30 tip. So Bogdanovich, we were talking about getting him on that turning point where he had a strong game at his price, but that those times are gone now on FanDuel, and that's the key theme for me with the Hawks is that they have been priced up on FanDuel. Bogdanovich was only 9,500 last game, but now he's all the way up to 13,500, and Herter's been bumped up to 12,500. So you can't get all of the key guys in here that you want. Uh, on the Atlanta side, if Trae Young is out, the three guys you really want to look at to handle the ball, get the majority of the shots are Lou Williams, Herter, and Bogdanovich. You can't play all those guys with Drew Holiday and Middleton on the other side. So we're going to have to make some sacrifices here, and it's maybe a bit surprising. If you woke up and you were getting ready to look at the slate and you thought, all right, I'm going to get ready to get the two studs on Atlanta if Trae Young is out, meaning Herter and Bogdanovich, and then Drew Holiday and Middleton on the other side. That would be what I would have thought, but you can't do it. It just doesn't work mathematically on FanDuel. So let's continue to work through it here and discuss some of these value plays. So on the Atlanta side, the other starters, if Capella plays, you've got Collins and Capella to consider. They're still pricey though, 12 and 13,000 respectively on FanDuel. Collins has been pretty disappointing here lately. Got 30 minutes again last time and did better staying out of foul trouble, but 4 points and 7 rebounds, 2 for 8. We saw that those three wing players really dominated the action, and Collins was, an afterthought in terms of the offense. Capella did a little bit better, 15 and 7, 6 of 7 from the field. But again, like I said, he's pricey, so he's not in that first look for me in terms of a cash lineup. On the bench, Okongwu, like I said, right into play if he's going to start for Capella. If not, probably a little pricey on FanDuel at 8,500, but he could make things work on DraftKings at 1,800. Gallinari took a dip in minutes back down to 19 after getting 36 the game before when Collins was in foul trouble. So, I would think he would get more than 19 minutes, but he hasn't done much besides score a little bit here. So it would take a shift for him to become a key play. His price did go down on DraftKings down to 4,800, but not my favorite play today. Cam Reddish really is trending in the right direction, isn't he? He got 23 minutes and showed a nice all-around game, 12 points, some rebounds, couple assists, 2 for 3 on threes, 5 for 9, involved defensively, playing hard with energy. And he's only 3,200 on DraftKings, 9,500 on FanDuel is a little bit much, but he's in that group of value plays on DraftKings that you can look at. And he is a guy that also is impacted by Trae Young. He along with Lou Williams really the key guys who benefited from his absence. So if Trae Young starts, then Cam Reddish takes a big hit here. There's just not as many minutes to go around. I think he'll still get out there, but I don't think he'll get 23 minutes. And then I mentioned Lou Williams and Dunn. Dunn I'm not going to play no matter what, but Lou Williams definitely in play as a starter for sure. If Okongwu starts and Capella is out, you could also see Nathan Knight get a few minutes, and he's minimum price on both sites. The way that the build works, I don't think you need to get to a $6,000 player on FanDuel, but you never know. It's possible, but I don't think you need to go that deep on this particular slate the way that the pricing is working. All right, let's shift over to the Milwaukee side. We have seen Giannis miss some games this year. He missed a handful in April, and Portis did start most of those games. Connaughton actually drew the start a couple of times, so that is a possibility. But I think with this matchup, Bobby Portis will get the start. I think they'll have him out there to match up with Collins. And we've seen Portis in those games in April really play well as a starter. I mean, we're talking significant double doubles, and it's not too much of a leap to project that because he's been really strong off the bench here these last couple games. Got up to 21 minutes in the last game, 7 and 7. I would project him for around 30 minutes if Giannis is out. I think he'll get that probably at a minimum. And at his price tag, he's definitely in consideration. Now, on FanDuel, he's 10,500. So that one is a little bit tougher. He's right in that same price range as Lou Williams. On DraftKings, though, Portis is only 4,400. I like him a lot there for your cash lineups and even as a potential GPP captain on DraftKings. Now, along with Portis, we're obviously going to have a lot of interest on Drew Holiday and Middleton. And I would like to get both of those guys in my lineups. If you look at the numbers, sort of big picture, Milwaukee's been taking around 85 to 90 shots per game. I think if Giannis sits, Drew Holiday and Middleton will combine to take probably at least half of those shots. I could see them getting 45 to 50 field goal attempts between them. And in that scenario, I do think you want both of them in your lineups. They're going to play off each other a lot. They're going to take turns running the offense. So, that's my initial approach here on both sites to get both of them in all my lineups. Drew Holiday was disappointing again in terms of field goal percentage, 6 for 17, and Middleton did the same. No wonder Milwaukee got blown out, but Middleton 0 for 7 on threes. Again, I think he'll bounce back from that. And Drew Holiday, I think he will come out here focused and aggressive, knowing that he's got a lot of responsibility here and play a little bit more like he did in game one when he smashed against Atlanta. Tucker and Lopez, the other starters, probably not going to make it for me. Tucker is a nice price on FanDuel at 8,000. He's cheaper than some of these other starters. So you could look there as a GPP option, but we know that he has a pretty low floor. And then Lopez, a little too pricey for me on both sites because he's just not getting a lot of shot attempts. He could get a little bit more involved here, maybe even a couple more minutes, but probably not enough for me to make the lineup. Then if you look at the Milwaukee bench, Connaughton has been, the key guy getting the most minutes. Another game in game 4 where he didn't take many shots, but he can make some lineups work at his price tag, so he's definitely in the mix for me. Forbes, not my favorite. I'd rather pay a little bit more for Connaughton. And then again, if Giannis is out, his brother Thanasis, I would expect to get some minutes off the bench. I could see him getting 15 to 18 minutes backing up Portis and Lopez. And he's minimum price on DraftKings, only 6,500 on FanDuel. He's a guy that I would be more likely to look at as opposed to somebody like Nathan Knight. If you're going to build with 4 expensive guys on FanDuel and look for a cheap one, Thanasis, I think is worth considering in that price range. All right, so there's the breakdown team by team. So let's circle back here and make sure we're on the same page on the builds. Let's start with FanDuel. The 6 guys that I think are, the ones you really want to be focusing on and getting as many from the group as possible. Lou Williams, Herter, and Bogdanovich. And then the big 3 on Milwaukee, I think, will be Drew Holiday, Middleton, and Portis. So you want to try to get as many of those 6 as you can. You can't get 5 of them. So you're going to have to make some sacrifices and keep playing with that. On the DraftKings side, for the captain spot, you can pay up for a guy like Holiday or Middleton, and there's enough value here to make it work, especially if Trae Young is out. And then with Lou Williams and Portis, those guys are in that perfect zone that I like for GPP captains. You hope that one of those guys gets 30 to 40 fantasy points, and then you can pay up for everybody else that you want, and you love your lineup. But the interesting thing today is if you do that, you may actually have some salary left over. So, you could, if Trae Young is out, because if you don't have Giannis and Trae Young to pay up for, you can afford everybody you want. So the thing we have to do here is look at some projections on what we think these guys are going to get for fantasy points, and then just play with the numbers a little bit and try to figure out, is it worth it to put Lou Williams or Portis as your captain and leave a little bit of money on the table? Or does it make more sense to go up to a Herter or Bogdanovich, or pay way up for Drew Holiday or Middleton, and then use those guys just as the utility spots? So that's what I'm going to be playing with this afternoon, and waiting on that news for Trae Young and Capella to see if they're going to be out there. So I hope that helped everybody get ready for some initial builds. If you join us today, what you'll get are 2 full lineups on FanDuel. You get a cash lineup and a GPP lineup that you can plug and play. You're going to get a full lineup on Yahoo. And then for DraftKings, we'll give you the core for cash games and a core for GPPs. And again, the place to sign up is dfscoachtalk.com. You sign up through our website, and then we'll invite you into Discord with an email. We give out lineups about 20 minutes before lock, so that's 8:10 Eastern. But we do have baseball lineups coming out about 6:30 Eastern. So if you're going to join us today, try to join before 6 o'clock Eastern. That way we'll get you in there for the baseball lineups, and then we'll have the basketball lineups later. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. You can find me at Language Olympic, and you can find the coach at JOESARVADI. Coach will be back on Saturday for the Game 6 podcast. Again, on YouTube. Remember, big day here. Let's start July off with a bang. So please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If we get those 40 likes, we're going to give away a free membership to DFS Coach Talk. By the way, if you hit the like button and you're trying to enter that contest, you can go ahead and still join. If you join for 3 days or a week, and then you end up winning that contest, we'll just tack on the free week after that. So love to have you. Appreciate all the support. Again, any questions, reach out to us on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. All right. Thanks again for tuning in and joining me. Good luck to everybody tonight. And we'll be back again on Saturday for another NBA podcast. And of course, we'll have our NBA lineups and MLB lineups Friday, and then our golf weekend lineups on Friday. So that's the other thing that'll be happening while we wait for Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. All right. On behalf of the entire DFS Coach Talk team, I'm Andrew Hanson. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time as we look to crush it in DFS.